I'm fucking exhausted, and when I'm exhausted, I play scary video games. Scary video games like Home. Your game will be saved automatically to certain points, however, we recommend you put aside an hour and a half and complete Home in a single sitting. I don't give a damn what you want. Um, it's not exactly nighttime, but it is dark in my room. Dark enough, so. All I remembered at that point was finding myself alone. Oh, on my head. Where was I? It was so dark. Oh no. Send help. There's something by my feet. A flashlight. Trying to get my fucking cursor out of the way. I hate that shit. This game looks like crap. That house, where was I? Okay, I can't walk anymore. In there. This is kind of weird. It has like gamepad support, but it doesn't seem fully... I didn't recognize his face. I missed the first part of the dialogue. God damn it. He's still kind of warm. So, some dead guy. Fucking cat. You killer. You murdered him. He was just a boy. I noticed that I limped as I moved down the stairs. How did I hurt my leg, I wondered. All I could really recall was coming home, seeing Rachel. I was upset. She looked afraid. I shook my head and tried to clear it. I knew I should head downstairs, try to find a way out. The shelf was full of books on local history and hunting. Seemed like the owner of the house really knew the area. Bunch bullshit, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, this is fucking annoying. Why can't I just... I should probably just use the keyboard, but... A thin gray mouse was stuck in a trap. It looked frantic but exhausted. Did I free it? I don't fucking know, dude. It's your story. It's a mouse, not a rat, so sure. And it's not like we're fucking hanging out here. Maybe the mouse will come back like that dog in Resident Evil 4. This is a weird place to keep yard tools. I found a picture of a couple. It looked like it had been moved a lot. There seemed to be a switch behind it. Did I push the switch? Hey, it did. It depressed smoothly into the wall. I heard a faraway click somewhere. There's a door up here. No. What the fuck? Why doesn't he walk consistently? This had a computer and some papers on it in a single drawer, but I didn't want to snoop, but I totally did. Receipts, pens, and a blurry photo. Looked like a store of some kind. Why'd this look so familiar? 'Cause you're a murderer. Blood on the wall. It smelled fresh and sickening. I realized there was blood on my shoes and pants. Oh man, I had to get out of here. I don't see what the fucking big deal is. It's just the smell of blood. It ain't the real deal. I guess I'll just take it a floor at a time. I don't know. An old dining table covered in dirty dishes for 2 people. There were dozens of beer and cans and other liquor bottles among the dishes. The smell was turning my stomach. A black and white photo looked like the man upstairs and his wife. I guess. There was no reason for me to keep this. Sure there was. The door was taped up and seemed to be stuck with tape. By the smell, I guess it led to the kitchen. But you can't fucking be sure, can you? Front door was something. I don't know. It's really easy to skip dialogue in this game. That is heavily dialogue driven. Sorry about that interruption. There were sheets of paper all over the kitchen table. It looked like a series of names were written down, but they were too smudged to read. I could only make out a few of the notes. Fuck. I skipped the notes. God. I just want the dialogue to appear, and I want it to stay fucking there. Sorry, I don't want to wait for fucking dopey fucking Roundhead to... God, I'm the king of insults. The bathroom was spotless. Everything had been wiped to a sheen. I wonder if it was the man's wife who did the cleaning or him. There was a photo development tray lying on the floor. Some leftover negatives were sticking out, but they were pretty blurry. I thought I saw what looked like treetops. It seemed odd that the tray had been left there, considering how clean the rest of the bathroom was. It doesn't look that fucking clean. I looked like hell. My clothes were dirty and torn, and there was mud caked all over my shoes. Oh man, there's mud on my shoes. What the hell do I do now? I guess we can move this box. There was a ladder going underground where the box was. A dank smell arose from the passage. I looked again at the photo I found in the house. The couple looked distant, like they didn't want to be in the same picture. I wondered where the wife was. My leg was in terrible shape, but I had to get out. Footprints in the dirt looked like more than one kind and a lot of traffic. Traffic? Maybe read that too fast. Doesn't make a lot of sense. God, I keep fucking skipping the first goddamn bit of description. If it would just speed the fuck up. Photos of our house. What the hell was that about? Maybe I should have looked around more, tried to find some kind of information. Work table covered in papers, dirt, and a handgun. I hated guns. I didn't take it, did I? You sure did, dumbass. Was that actually a ladder? Didn't look like one. Some kind of homemade rack slung together with poorly cut wood and rope. It was caked with old blood. Somebody didn't actually use that, did they? The desk looked old and was caked with grime. It was a stack of old faded paper covered with what looked like names. They were scratched out, and ineligible notes were written beside them in faded blue ink. I could only make out a few letters. Well, none of it made any sense to me. Well, that's because you're thick. It's fucking obvious. Crudely made shelves, they looked like they were holding cans of some kind of corrosive. The labels were worn and slick, but I could still see the warnings. Yeah. God damn it, that was another ladder. Like, it doesn't even look like a ladder. It looks like a fucking crib or some shit. It looked like a cage. It was small, but there was something coating the bottom. Some fucking wet, some dank. There looked to be bones half dug into the ground, and the remains looked old. The faded clothes that stuck up amongst the dirt looked familiar. They looked like the clothes that woman was wearing in the photo I found. Was this the man's wife? I don't. Dude, so many questions. My job isn't to answer questions. My job is to get you the hell out of here. Some kind of old boxes? Why is it always some kind of old... They're old boxes. That is what they are. There's no kind about them. They looked like they were years old. Wait a minute, these boxes had old clothes in them. Clothes I remember throwing out after Rachel and I moved to town. What the hell were they doing there? Bats. And that's how Batman was born. Fuck. I just want it to appear. I want the text to just be there. See, that shit looked like a hole, but... What do I know? There was a rope hanging there. I wasn't sure how sturdy it was, did it? Yeah, hell yeah. It's free rope, man. That's a skeleton. Those are scary. The rope I found would have let me climb down the broken ladder safely. I could hear a faint hum, and the smell from before starting to get worse. A bunch of old newspapers, wheat pasted together. A message had been hastily smeared on it. Keep out, danger due to cave-in. I could still feel a faint impression of the rope I had slid down as I pressed against the heavy metal door. It was probably for the best that I hadn't jumped. The ache in my leg was bad enough as it was. If I could have, though, I would have run straight out of those awful tunnels. Who would keep such an awful place? At least I thought. I had found that old handgun. It seemed to work, and from the smell of it, it had been used already. I kept the gun in my pocket. It seemed like a familiar weight there. Disgusting. It was a mess of filthy garbage bags. There were rips and tears in most of the bags. Well, it looked like an old videotape was sticking out. Did I take the tape? I wasn't sure what I hoped to discover with the tape, but I took it anyway. Probably the fucking meaning of life. It was probably the Monty Python's The Meaning of Life on VHS. I could hear a faint trickling sound like water. What was that? Probably water. I don't know. Kitchen knife covered in drying blood. Thinking about it made me sick. I didn't even want to touch it. Did I take the knife? Sure. That was sudden. God, dude, there's too many doors. I wasn't sure what those valves were for. Did I turn it anyway? Sure. Whatever. I wasn't sure, but I thought it was some kind of regulator. I had no idea how it worked. This, like, some kind of shit is, like, maybe I'm just being a shitty person today, but it's really fucking annoying. Everything is some kind of something with some kind of exactly what it is. Sure, just keep fucking turning them, fuck it. Till someone tells us otherwise. Oh, shit, it shows us. Okay. Alright. It was some kind of fucking video game. I think those are all in the right spot. Through the dust I could see handprints for previous use, probably from whoever worked in these sewers. Okay, that's where it should be. That's where that should be. That's where that should be, and that's where that should be. Unless they're playing a clever trick. Turning those valves did something that I didn't read. Again. Looks like the water drained out of that grate in the wall. There's a small metal key left floating. Yeah. It's a fucking free key for you, Jim. Keys don't open doors. That's the first thing video games teach you. Safety poster had definitely seen better days. How old was that facility? Again, dude. Only God knows. I found another dead body, a sewer worker. By the wounds all over his face and body, I figured he'd been stabbed repeatedly. There was a key ring sticking out of the man's pocket. Did I take it? Yeah, that way it's fucking murder and fucking robbery. There's a security camera in the room. There must have been a way to see what had happened. Maybe the VHS tape and do. Maybe. Gotta find a fucking security monitor. There's a hint of fresh air here. I must have been near an exit, but I wondered, what did that key I found on the sewer worker do? And what was on the videotape I had found? An exposed ventilation shaft. Maybe somebody crawled through there? Fucking maybe. I don't. I made my way up the ladder as best I could on my leg. Would I really need that gun or that knife before the end? I wondered what was on that VHS tape I found or in that locked room. Should I have gone back to check? My head was buzzing with questions and tired thoughts as I ascended the ladder. Suddenly, as I lifted the heavy lid above me, I could smell fresh old pine trees. There's a fucking scared dude. An old ladder leading up to the ancient water tower. The ladder needed to be extended so I could climb it. Did I extend the ladder? Sure. And then we leave it like that. In a patch of smeared dirt and grass there was poop. It was a beat up old wally. I thought it was mine. Did I take it? In fact, it didn't contain any cards or ID of any kind. I thought I should recover my credit card and driver's license at least. I tried the little key I had fished out of the murky puddle. It fit. I heaved open the rusty door. The wind was picking up a bit, and the night air had become strangely chilly. This must have been the entrance to the forest that was mentioned on that map I had seen. Rivers poke around those tunnels underneath that man's house. I'd scribbled notes on this place, but I couldn't make them out. Here the sign pointed out various campsites and walking paths within the woods. It mentioned a river and maybe a washroom, but the rest was too faded to see clearly. Oh, come on! Trampled into the dirt and grass was a plastic card of some kind. I brushed it off and was surprised to see it was my credit card. Wasn't sure if it was still usable, but it was mine. Did I take back? Yeah. Hopefully I can find my driver's license, too. Who the fuck I keep skipping the dialogue? Because I just want it to appear. I have to read it anyway, so I don't know why it scrolls. There's a fire pit there. It was still a bit warm, and a few embers still burned at the bottom. Two folding camp chairs, cheap dome tent, slept two people. See some bedrolls, two backpacks, and a cooler. There's just too many branching paths of this shit. I find it exhausting. You're not supposed to like horror, Ben. It's supposed to fucking make you feel exhausted. There was some personal effects shoved back into the rock. Wait, there was a notebook there too. Sure. Inside the cheap dollar store notebook was page after worn page of names and lists. None of it made much sense. The newest page contained several names. Heather, Olivia, Ashley, Cheryl, Iris, Daphne, Holly, Rose, Rachel. Rachel. Her name was last on the list and had a mark beside it in blue ink. Names Daphne and Olivia had been crossed out in the same blue ink. Cheryl, Heather, and Rose had also been crossed out, but these marks looked older and more faded. Yeah. They did, didn't they? Buster would have been playing propped up the stall door and didn't. Whatever. I don't. Like, at no. Why is it asking me? I'm gonna take everything, probably. Grammy's sink had a small patch in it that looked almost clean. Through the dense trees, I could finally start to see some light. It must have been at the edge of the forest, though I wasn't sure where the path ahead of me led. I could almost feel a cryptic notebook in my pocket as I tried to think about what it could mean, or the campers who had abandoned their site. Would I meet them too? Though the path ahead of me was less dense, I still felt guarded and wary. Who knew what was ahead? Not me. There was that room back there. Can I go back there? Nope. Branching paths where the paths close off to you because you fucking went too hard in the right direction. As I stepped through the gate, I suddenly recognized the auto parts factory where I had worked as a machinist for all those years. The plant had closed almost 3 years ago now. Times were better then. I thought I could hear a faint rustling behind me. Maybe it was just the wind. Probably fucking not, dude. I'm tired of you being stupid. One of the lockers hung open and its contents were tossed around like someone had been looking for something. There was a large power box with 5 lights on it. Cables burst out of the box, snaking off to other parts of the factory. The metal was starting to wear and the cobwebs had collected on the corners. The box wasn't receiving power. Oh, the box isn't getting any power. Go do something. So all the doors are locked tight. Every part of this plant smelled old and rotted. I noticed the old bulletin board on the wall. I didn't. The board contained yellow clippings of newspaper cartoons and notices. There were notes too, and from the guys that worked there. One of them, Norman. Jesus fuck. Who was one of the older guys on the line? Good for fucking Norman. Way to hang in there, Norm. Her old break table. The layers of dust and grime only made seeing this sting more. Odd, it seemed like some beer bottles had been used on the table recently. They weren't as dusty as the rest of it. Don't you mean some kind of beer bottles? We don't want to generalize here. The open locker was stuffed with dirty work clothes. There was a photo of a woman taped to the inside, but it was scratched out and the face was unrecognizable. Just fucking shut tight. So I'm sure I've like already done some shit that like, oh, you're getting the bad ending. It's like, fuck you. This was Norman's locker. The door was dented like someone had punched it. I don't remember him doing that when we worked there. I don't fucking remember Norm doing that. Norm wouldn't do that to me. Utility shelf crammed with mismatched tools and items. There was a claw hammer. Yes, we are tool men. Living in a nightmare or not, this is what we do. Locker was a complete mess, and at the bottom there was a magnetic card. Okay. There's a small patch of smeared dirt on the floor. Large pile of building materials and debris blocked the way. Rusted old regulator of some kind. Fuck. Sat dusty and unused against the wall. Playing stools and broken up parts blocked any further passage. Rack of flashlights. One of them was to turn mine on over. Could have come from that rack. What a fucking revelation. Did my flashlight really come from that factory? How would I have received it? My head ached as I wrestled with my thoughts, and my body felt ready to give up completely. I know the feeling. My only option was the path in front of me. I hoped desperately that it led back to town. Maybe if I ended up close to Norman's store, he could help. A rusty old truck had careened off the road and into the guardrail. Its front was crushed and its windows had all smashed. Judging by the rust, it had been there a while. Driving a safe 62 miles per hour. Can't believe it. Sometimes life is just cruel. Come out the gate and walk some more, and walking through that fucking door, and then you'll never play again, 'cause this game is kinda dumb. Garbage bin was a disgusting mess of rotten food and slick black bags. I saw a thin greenish corner poking out from one of the bags. It was my driver's license. It looked damaged. Did I take it back? Yeah, 'cause it's fucking yours. Clean it up, you prick. Cleaned the card off as best I could. It looked pretty beat up. I was amazed to have found my credit card and now this. I took the card into my wallet next to my credit card. That way you don't pay fucking $40. Sounded like it was going to start raining again. Holy shit. What the fuck? I entered Norman's place. This was back of the store that he ran. It was oddly quiet except for the faint sound of the television. You like television? Oh no, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Norman, my coworker and one of the few friends I have in this town, lay dead beside his armchair. His face and shirt were covered in blood and it looked like he'd been shot trying to get up. His eyes were still wide with shock. Norman, you just deserve better than this. Did I close his eyes? I wasn't sure if wanted to give him peace, or if I just couldn't stand to think anymore about what was going on. Quickly I closed Norman's eyes. TV still flickered indecipherable, some kind of indecipherable channel. Some kind of TV flashed some kind of indecipherable stuff. I guess this was Norman's kitchen table. He kept it clean enough, but there were water rings from 2 cups still there in the wood. What a prick. Kitchen trash bin smelled fresh. I didn't dig through that mess. Yeah, you did. You're a freak. I found a hairpin amongst the rotting food and trash and pocketed it. Of course you did, you fucking psycho. You wouldn't have fucking come in here if you weren't interested in rifling through some gross shit. Getting nuts. Despite the shock of already finding Norman in that state, seeing this turned my stomach just as much. It was one of Rachel's old fall coats. What was it doing there? Was she okay? Inside the cabinet was a small but impressive collection of hunting rifles, shotguns, and even a few items I didn't think were there. Some. One of those slots on the rack was empty. The gun I had found seemed to match the others there. The handgun was Norman's. What the hell was he doing with it? The gun would fit there. Did I place it back in the cabinet? Sure. Carefully pushed the piece back in place and felt a great burden lifted. Now I don't have a gun. Probably a bad idea. This game is not very scary yet. Used the hairpin to pick the lock, the hairpin snapped in half, so I threw it away. General store was small, but it was clean. I had the usual things: postcards, snacks, magazines, canned goods. Never went there much. Rachel usually stopped by after work if we needed anything. Register was mostly empty and a fat stack of travel magazines sat beside it. Word. Icebox seemed to be unplugged. It must have been off for a while. Most of its contents were half melted. Various postcards from the area, especially from tourist traps. One of the postcards showed an old black and white photo of the water tower. It looked to be some... we'll never know. Of all the postcards, that one seemed to be the most popular. There were only a few left. Norman was dead, but I had no idea why. Was he involved in all this somehow, or was he just another victim? The gun I had found only seemed to complicate matters. It was such a relief to finally be rid of it. The gun hadn't done shit. Home wasn't far off now, even though the rain was relentless. I had to keep going. Neighborhood's local post box. A letter was sticking out as if someone hadn't pushed it all the way in. Sure. Stay away, she's mine. That was it. No signature, no other information. So he fucking killed Norman. He killed everybody. I had entered our backyard, and the rain gave me a terrible sense of foreboding and chilled me through my clothes. I expectant, but also afraid. Well, you're a fucking murderer, so... I held my breath as I approached our back door. I was terrified to step inside. The house was painfully quiet. The only sound was my own breathing, ragged and strained. I flicked the light switch by the door. The power was off. I remembered having breakfast here on this very table. Was that yesterday or sometime before? I don't know. When was the last time you had breakfast, you fucking moron? I ripped the bill open and read it. To my surprise, it said something about canceling my credit card due to non-payment. What the hell? Glad I got that credit card. Door's stuck shut, so I'm glad it's here to join us this evening. I'd found the last missing piece from my wallet. The old photo of Rachel and I stared back at me, reminding me of better times. Didn't make me feel terribly comfortable. Did I keep it anyway? Yeah, 'cause you're fucking guilty. Our television. I had purchased it before I knew I was going to lose my job. I felt pretty guilty about it afterwards, but by then it was too late. Can't like fucking Craigslist shit, dude. It's immoral. Hallway mirror had been smashed. Its pieces scattered around the floor. God, all these doors. Our sink, which needed to be replaced, one of the taps always stuck, but I hadn't gotten around to fixing it yet. We were lucky enough to get a house with one of those wonderful old claw-footed bathtubs. Oh, it was great old fucking pieces of shit bathtubs. Books there were half mine, half Rachel's. Hey, now that I looked more closely, it looked like the man in that house had some of the same books as I did. There was a suitcase on the bed. It was Rachel's. I remembered it from the trip we took out west. Sure, because she's probably fucking dead. I wasn't sure what to make of the suitcase's contents. Inside were a few days' worth of clothes, some toiletries, and a train ticket. Where was she planning to go? to go fuck Norman. One book in particular seemed a bit odd. I remember donating it, but not that edition. My laptop had been left on and only had a tiny bit of power left. On the screen was a website about the old water tower. There was a key in the top of the drawer of my desk. Did I take it? I pocketed the key. Fucking took that key and fucking fucked it up. Bet it opens the goddamn basement. There were old Christmas decorations in the box. There were old clothes, tools, and other things we obviously hadn't thrown out yet. We had way too much junk. Now you're getting it. I put up this divider wall last summer so we could create a separate room in the basement. I hadn't finished it yet, so the door was stuck and the drywall was poorly installed. I might have been able to break through if I found something heavy enough. What about a goddamn hammer? Rachel was pretty upset when I bought that TV. The old ball and chain, am I right, fellas? Yeah, at least I'm safe in my man cave. What a fucking asshole. That old house was charming for sure, but it wasn't always easy. Alright, he really likes his fucking bathtub. He really likes his old shit. Gross piece of shit key unlocked the door. Looked like the room had been tossed around. The furniture was a mess. Did somebody break in here? There's an old crowbar on the floor. Yeah, you did. I appreciated its weight as I went into my basement and hit the wall after every argument with my wife. heave, I swung the crowbar at the wall. I smashed a hole large enough to step through. As I stepped through the broken wall, my breath caught in my throat, and this was it. Was Rachel down there? Was she okay? Why the fuck would she be down there? Like... Don't look. Filthy looking pile of rags had been dumped in the corner. The stench of them was awful and made my eyes water. I was terrified to even touch the pile to see what lay within. But I knew I had to. I had come this far. After all this searching, after all I had seen, when I looked within the rags, did I finally find my Rachel? Probably not. I was in confusion trying to figure out if she wasn't there, where was she? What had I been searching for this entire time? I remember the look on Rachel's face when I came home, didn't I? And the awful realization hit me in the gut. This is the wrong way, hadn't I? This is what you've been trying to tell me all along, isn't it? I couldn't find Rachel there, and I won't find her anywhere else because she was never there at all, was she? I stumbled back upstairs to pain my leg, just a dull ache now, and sat down in my bedroom. My mind was spinning, and the ache I felt before was near crippling. Finally, I could no longer fight the exhaustion, and as I tried to grab hold of something that would make sense of all this, I must have drifted off. Oh god, we're not done yet? I guess these books were all actually mine then. It was my wallet with its contents intact. Either I dropped that stuff or somebody else did. Maybe I was sleepwalking. What the fuck? What the fuck is this? Like, you're making me, like, decide your sanity. Like, sure. Means you're a fucking cold-blooded killer. I don't know. Don't get me involved. This is a photo of the other man and his wife. What? It was the keycard I found at the bottom of that factory locker. I never did bother to use it. Someone had been going through those lockers and poking around the plant. Still didn't quite add up. Was I the one who had been going back to the factory? Save used an 8-digit code. What was that damn code again? 5555555555. Enter. Are you kidding me? I'm sure it was that. No, I don't. If only I known what was on the fucking tape. If only the game had fucking made any of that shit fucking clear. Pile of mail on the fucking floor. If I was guilty, I could take this to a warm, safe place and do something about it. No. Fuck this. This is... Alright. Yeah, let's leave the nightmare behind. Since I had arrived in town, things had been different. Working in the plant, though, it had been good for me. It kept me in line, gave me something to do, and helped me get away from my past. When the factory closed, everything changed. I guess that was when I had started sleepwalking, disappearing for hours at a time. Drinking was probably just a way to deal with that. It was almost as if I was trying to beat my brain at its own game. Things stopped making sense sometime after that, and my memories of what happened are still in flux. I suppose that was when Rachel came along. This night had been the worst of my entire life. Would it even be possible to bounce back from everything that had happened? Everything I had seen? You know, in a way, I almost wish I hadn't even woken up tonight. It would have spared me a lot of pain. What happened to the other man I had found at the old house? Had I killed him? Is that why I was locked in that room? Or did you? What had happened in those dank sewers? I was lucky in my way to even find my way out of there. But I never did find out what was on that tape that I now kept. Considering all that I had learned tonight, I wasn't sure I wanted to. And what had I been doing at Norman's place or even in that old forest? It didn't look good, that's for sure. Had I been responsible for what happened there? What did you think? Was I guilty or was I just mad? I would have loved if you, like, fucking had any goddamn smooth fucking way of telling us. The forest, though, was no escape either. That notebook especially left me troubled. I remembered seeing a similar list on that desk back in the tunnels. Who were the girls mentioned? I don't fucking know. You could have told me. I suspected there was more to those woods than I knew, though I had no intention of going back. Of course you don't. So you're gonna fucking make me feel like shit, but give me no goddamn reason to fucking head back there. Obviously, we aren't seeing eye to eye on this, but we could both agree it wasn't me going through the old factory, right? I mean, you said it yourself, and I'm trusting you. I have no idea what the fuck happened in this game. I had to catch my breath, take it all in. At each point to the factory, things had only gotten worse. But then going to Norman's store, that's where the confusion and doubt started to set in. That's when my perspective on all this really started to change. Oh my god! Fucking quit talking. Oh, Norman, I don't know how you got mixed up in all this, but someone had killed you. My head was a mess. Everything I ate was foggy, so I don't know if you deserved what you got in the end. We were friends once, weren't we? Did you know about this? Did you know what Rachel was? As painful as all that was, oh no, I couldn't bear to think about it again. After all I had seen and done, finally coming home was supposed to be the end of this entire ordeal. I had no idea, though, that it was only the beginning. Silence in the house when I had first stepped through the kitchen door, that should have been my first clue. To think that I went through all of that, completely unaware of what I would discover. Did you know before the end? Did you mock me when you finally showed me the truth? You don't know what it's like to have everything ripped away from you in a heartbeat. I feel like my time's being ripped away from me in a heartbeat. What the fuck? Get to the goddamn point. How could I possibly go on now knowing what I do? Without Rachel, even the thought of Rachel, I was truly lost. As the door swung open, I could smell damp grass and the closeness of the air. After everything, it felt like I had more questions than answers. You made me see the truth, I'll give you that, but now I was completely lost. You took away the only thing that had kept me going. Fucking please do whatever you're thinking about doing, you son of a bitch. I was so sure word would get out, and soon enough the police would come looking for me. And what then? Would you be there to show me the way? What will I do then? Dude's a fucking murderer. Okay, so here's my fucking wacky opinion. I don't think a game should be possible to play through all the way and leave that much like hanging. Like to me, that's I think a game that has an interesting story to tell finds a good way to tell it. Almost dedicated to my wife Nancy. Watch your back, honey. Yeah, fucking death threat. Um, so really nothing fucking happened. I played that entire game. Where was the like? Not even the horror. Like where was like even like the attempt at like something kind of eerie? Like the scariest part was a cat meowed at me. I don't know. I press A to share your story. Like I get they want to sort of be like, oh, you play home, it's kind of your own thing, and what specifically you do, like it's a personal deal. But like this shit isn't fucking Mass Effect. This is that was I don't know how long I've been streaming. Almost an hour. Yeah, that was about a fucking hour of my life where I just like walked. I basically went from A to fucking B and like couldn't give a fuck about the story. The story tried. At no point did the story try to like engage me. It's just like, hey, I wonder what's on that tape. Too bad you fucking didn't know where to go. So tough shit. But that's what Horror Month is all about. You're not supposed to like every fucking game you play, and you're supposed to point out ones that you think are kind of plotting and fucking stupid. Press back to quit? Absolutely. Thank you. So yeah, a bit of a shorter stream today. I kind of planned it that way since I had such a unexpected long day at work. Um, but I think that was entertaining. I think we had fun learning what happened to Rachel and Norman. Oh, Norman. Poor Norman. Oh. We'll be back tomorrow. Well, we have the podcast tomorrow. So, I don't know. I'll try to stream something. If I don't, you can follow my fucking Twitter and follow me on Twitch. That's when you'll know. God damn it. Why is it all about me? Why do I have to put everything into this relationship? I love you.